Previously on The Devil on G-String.
まったく、あいつらは。
あなた、またですか？
今度はもっとタチの悪そうなのが来たよ。
Men from the Azai Corporation. Gangsters sent to negotiate with him.
どうしたの、椿ちゃん。なんでもないよ。ごめんね。
The image of a smiling girl appeared in my mind, an image I hurriedly erased. This emotion raising its ugly head in my heart must be what they call a conscience. It's said that a studious person can never go back to hard work once they learn the pleasure of leisure. Similarly, rediscovering one's conscience halfway down the path of darkness wildly shakes one's illusion of control. That night, I had a hard time sleeping. So the reason you won't sell this land is because of personal attachment, correct?
君の言う通りだよ。祖父の代から続いている土地でね。いくらお金を積まれたって出ていくわけにはいかないんだ。
Won't that be difficult? Huge companies like Sano are promoting the development tourism industry.
地上げ屋というのは面倒なもんだね。
Kidnapping. A crime said to be one of the most despicable. However, which crime isn't despicable? Maou fully understands that the action he's about to take is a sin. His people had already done a background check. He found the answer. The reason Miwa Tsubaki's family won't sell their land has nothing to do with money. That land has been in her family since the First World War. Her father is very stubborn. There was no telling how much time it would take, using conventional methods to get him to sell. We were talking about my childhood.
よく覚えてるね。いや失礼。前回の最後にも君のことを忘れっぽい性格だなんて言ってしまったね。
Is that so? I don't remember, and it doesn't bother me.
覚えてない？
What about it? I smiled slightly. Surely you aren't implying that I'm suffering from some form of memory illness.
いやいや安心して。君が診察料を払い忘れたことはないよ。
That's a relief.
ちょっと待ってくれないか。
It seems he figured it out.
君のお父さんというのは。
An expression of fear and awe spread across his face.
ひょっとして。
That's right.
年勝。
I was aware that my heart was rapidly becoming cold. Yes, he is that Samejima Totoshi Hakatsu. After that, time seemed to pass in an instant. Dr. Akimoto didn't say a word afterward. He just closed his eyes. There's always something I didn't like about Tsubaki, but now I knew what it was. She's too perfect. It had irked me when she ran to help Usami. Tsubaki trusts her friends just because they're her friends. Tsubaki trusts her family just because they're her family. So someone like me, who doesn't trust anyone, feels uncomfortable. I find myself wondering how someone like that could really exist.
車なんだけど、乗ってもらえるかな？
Maou turned around and pointed to a white sedan he had parked there earlier.
お馬さんなのに車なの？
He tilted his little head skeptically. Surely even a Miwa child at his age has been told not to get into a stranger's car. Maou quickly thought of something.
お馬さん怪我してるんだ。だから自分の足で歩けないんだ。
大丈夫？
坊やに案内してもらえればきっと大丈夫だよ。
わかった。僕頑張るね。
He immediately ran toward the car. The boy is in my hands. If you don't want him to die, follow my instructions. Although it's rather cliche, do not contact the police. And so it continues. Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of The Devil on G-String. So, first thing I want to get out of the way, after comparing Mao's face with what we've seen of Kyosuke's face, yeah, I do think that they actually, in reality, look different enough to where you can visually distinguish them from each other, if you do more than just a cursory glance at the both of them. But they still have enough physical similarities between their facial structures and haircuts and whatnot to where, at a glance, I could totally get why most people would confuse them both for each other. If nothing else, it definitely shows that they seem to share some parental lineage with one another. So, yeah, at this point I'm willing to believe that Maou and Kyosuke are indeed related to each other. Although whether they're full siblings or half siblings or something like that here, I really don't know for sure yet. We don't really have any information here from Kyosuke's perspective here that could give us a clue as to how Maou relates to him in whatever specifics that he does. You know what I mean? But yeah. I certainly was not expecting him to be related to our protagonist. I mean, I knew he was going to be important to the story somehow, but, well, yeah, family. Other than that, well, speaking of, I just hope that we can maybe do something about getting Tsubaki's kid brother back safely, because, well, This is not kidnapping the poor kid. This is not going to bode well for anybody. Least of all the kid, but yeah, I'm just dreading all the drama this is going to end up causing, and I'm just fearful that unless Kyosuke decides to decides to not really try to help out in any way here, instead just take advantage of the situation here in order to get Tsubaki's family out of the property. It's just going to end in tragedy for Tsubaki's family no matter what. But who knows? There are multiple endings for each character's route, so I'm pretty sure that I gotta have at least one option here to try to combat this, right? Anyway, I guess that's enough rambling from me. Let's get into it. Ugh. It's morning already? I wasn't getting anything done last night because of a splitting headache, so I went straight to bed and slept until now. Well, it was a good night's sleep. For the first time in a while, I soaked in a nice rejuvenating bath, washed the laundry that had piled up, and did other everyday chores I hardly ever do. What a refreshing morning. All those muddied thoughts have completely disappeared. And to think Dr. Akimoto says I have a psychological disorder. How ridiculous. I think you do. I'll go to school today. Trauma, if nothing else. I think, I'm pretty certain you at the very least suffer from some kind of trauma and emotional repression due to, well, let's say your special upbringing courtesy of your foster daddy. Anyway, morning, Kanan. I wish I could always remember to shut that phone off. Well, the vibration function off. Oh, Kanan. What's up? Did you come to pick me up?
一緒に学校行こうと思ってね。
Yeah, sure. Sounds great. She came a half step closer. What?
兄さんなんか機嫌いいね。
Maybe.
なんでなんで？
Who knows? Because it seems I'll be able to cap off all the unfinished work soon. I finally made some headway in the purchase of the Eastern District's properties. Wait. Huh? Wait a minute. What headway? I made no significant progress in that regard.
どうしたの？考え事？
Yeah, I think I see what's going on here. They're trying to present this little moment here like as though Kyosuke is remembering things that he logically shouldn't be able to remember. And couple that here with our Maou figure running into someone who recognizes him and confused him for Kyosuke, and well, how we know that Mao's plans have been making headway into acquiring the same property. Yeah, I'm sorry, but after doing some thorough 15-second facial structure analysis between Kyosuke and Maou, I'm going to say no. They're definitely different people. Kyosuke's just probably has a muddy memory in general or something here, and that's what we're seeing. That's my bet anyway. I won't be fooled by your tomfoolery, game. I've gotten close to Tsubaki. I've even met her family, but I've hit a wall. I don't know where to go from here. Then again, I've infiltrated the family at least. I guess you could call it that headway.
なんかまた不機嫌そうな顔してるよ。
Oh, sorry. I'm just not awake yet. We started walking together side by side.
兄さん、手つないで行こう。
Yes. Are you an idiot? People would get the wrong idea.
何誤解って。
Come on, I don't think people would respond well to the idea of a brother and sister dating. You're just holding hands, you dunce.
別に付き合ってなくても手ぐらいつなぐよ。私カナダ行ってた時もいろんな人といっぱい握手したよ。
But this is Japan.
ん。
Yeah, I know. Phooey. Phooey, Kyosuke. Kanon kept sticking to me like glue.
ところで兄さん。
What? Why the long face?
兄さん最近バッキーと仲いいみたいじゃない？
We just hung out a couple times.
バッキーって絶対兄さんのこと好きだよ。
Huh? Still, what she says is true. I'm not really interested in her.
ひどいよ。バッキーがかわいそうだよ。
It's not like she confessed to me or anything. Why should I worry about it?
ひどい。バッキーっていい子なんだよ。
She is indeed a responsible person.
そうだよ。掃除当番とかいつもやってるよ。
Oh, come on. Everyone else just forces it on her.
よく知らないけど、ニコニコしながらやってるから押し付けられてるってことはないんじゃないかな。
Wrong, sis. Someone like Tsubaki would smile even when forced to take care of someone else's responsibilities. Oh yeah, what about that thing about being on TV?
お、忘れっぽい兄さんにしてはよく覚えてるね。
I know! This guy deserves a cookie! When is it? I wouldn't want to miss it if I got some time around then.
あさってだよ。
Huh? Seriously? So soon?
なんか前々からずっとオファーは来てたんだって。のんちゃんが忘れてただけ。
Turns out I'm not the only one who's forgetful. Hey, don't be such an airhead. The TV station has enough trouble as it is.
だってスケートリンクの偉い人が勝手に決めたんだもん。
So why don't you want to do it? So you don't want to do it, excuse me.
これでまた人気者だよ。
What an innocent girl. I'll need to make more money so that she can stay innocent like this. After all, Kanan was only able to get into an expensive sport like figure skating because she had money. Hello, Shiratori. I'm sure you met my mysterious, possibly half-brother look-alike. I brushed by Shiratori in the hallway.
Yeah.
Despite having never interacted much with Shiratori, Kanan waved her hand, as if they were close friends. Morning, Shiratori.
おはよう、浅井くん。
How can a normal greeting suddenly turn into an icy showdown? You're really cold, you know that? You would know that, wouldn't you, Mr. Snowman?
あなたこそ。
See, she gets it too. That you're as cold as a snowman.
昨日は無視したでしょ。
Yesterday.
覚えていないならいいわ。
Well, lady, the person you confused with Kyosuke here did say that you mistook him for someone else here, so if you want to keep believing that here, even after Kyosuke, denied meeting up with, running into you, I mean, that's kind of your issue. Although, I guess to be fair, it's not like she was able to get a good look at the guy, so I guess I shouldn't reprimand her too much for that. Why is she so angry?
どうしたの？
Nothing. It's just that Shiratori hates me now.
え、そうなの、白鳥ん。別に。兄さんいい人だよ。
Not really. Kanan only knows that I've been helping Gonzo with work. Not even in her wildest dreams would she suspect that said work would involve kicking Tsubaki's family out of their own home. Shiratori glared at Kanan.
そう。それでいいんじゃない？
After a while, she opened her mouth to speak.
それから、白鳥んとか、慣れ慣れしいこと言わないで。
She made her exit.
いやー、見ているこっちがむずがゆくなるくらいの強気っぷりっすね。
How long were you tailing us, unkempt one? As if the timing was deliberate, Usami suddenly emerged from the classroom.
あれは、ひどいっつんですよ。ええ。
Ah, a fellow weeb. For some reason, she nods her head.
のんちゃん怒らしちゃったのかな？
Don't worry about her. We entered the classroom.
ファンキーのプリン買えないよね。夕方に行くと並んでるからね。
Eiichi's doing the usual, flirting with a bunch of girls.
でも僕、お店の人と知り合いなんだ。なになに？A ちゃんまた嘘ついてるのか？カノン。
Wow, that's the most nervous I've ever seen you, at least in your text dialogue. A typical morning scene.
椿がいませんね。
Yeah, in fact, nobody's here, going by all the desks. Oh, she's right. It's rare to see her come in late. Wait. Actually, it's as far as I can remember, I don't think it's ever happened before.
浅井さんは忘れっぽいので信用なりませんが、確かに妙ですね。
Well, Tsubaki's only human. Even she's late once in a while.
はあ。ただ自分、違和感があるとスルーしておけないたちなんすよね。
Well, I can totally see that. I lower my head and start to think.
みんな、私テレビ出るよ。
Kanan threw up her hands and made a commotion. We're between classes. I still don't see Tsubaki anywhere.
なあ、京介。椿は？
I've been wondering the same thing.
おいおい、てめえしらばっくれてんじゃねえよ。
And what truth do you think that is?
どうせおめえが昨日遅くまで椿にギュッポギュッポしてたんだろうが。
Well, I know you certainly wanted to squeeze between Kyosuke and yourself in the early wee hours of the morning. Squeezing? What the hell does that even mean?
違うのか？
Of course I am. I may be a playboy, but I never even touched her.
どうだかね。ちくしょう。俺もギュッポギュッポしたいぜ。
Your boyfriend, right? I swear to God, I have no idea how a human being could turn to a jackass like this kid. Well, could be poor upbringing, poor diet, some combination of the two. Maybe watched too many horror movies as a kid. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here and just seeing what sticks. He's so different from Tsubaki. Then again, I probably shouldn't be talking about other people. Well, then again, considering his lifestyle and whatnot, he probably was just literally spoiled rotten.
浅井さん、
Usami comes out slowly.
今聞いてきたんすけど、椿無断で休んでるみたいです。
That's not... Well, now that I'm remembering what happened literally at the end of the last episode, I think I know why she's absent now. She didn't call in?
おかしくないっすか？
Indeed.
まったくだよね。一体誰のせいなんだろうね。
電話してみてもらえませんかね？
I don't have her phone number. Well, alright, that's a lie. I do have it, but Aichi would make fun of me for it.
携帯も？
She doesn't carry a cell phone.
はい、僕提案。
Spit it out then.
これから椿ちゃんの家に押しかけるっていうのはどう？
What about class? You think we should just skip? It's rare for me to come to school, so I'd like to finish the day.
ひとまず電話してみましょう。番号は先生に聞けばわかるはずです。
Are you sure you're not overreacting? Maybe she just overslept.
椿には借りがありますから。
A favor?
ええ、アルバイトの件で助けてもらいましたから。
Oh, right. I guess she has a strong sense of obligation or something.
それにしても椿め、僧侶の分際で私の手を煩わせるなんて。もし何事もなかったら、ギュッポギュッポしてやる。
Well, I guess it's a good thing that she's got a very good excuse here for, not being present.
じゃあギュッポギュッポと電話しよう。
What's with these punks? Do they just like saying the word squeezing? After getting the phone number from a teacher, I immediately call her. Oh, someone picked up. Right after the first ring, no less.
はい、もしもし、三輪です。
I immediately notice that something's wrong.
もしもし、もしもし。
Perhaps I heard Tsubaki's voice through the phone. Both Eiichi and Usami became grave. I quietly said, "It's Kyosuke. What happened?"
浅井くん？
By the time she responded, her voice seemed to have loosened up.
どうしたの？浅井くん。
I asked you that first. I think that's my line. Why aren't you at school?
学園？
Huh?
ん？
学園。あ、そっか。今日学園か。
She allowed an immense sigh. What's going on? You sound like you've just been abducted by aliens.
エテ吉さん、浅井さんの例えってギャグなのかそうでないのかよくわからない時がありますよね。
だよね。半滑りだよね。
Hey, stop chatting behind my back like that. What happened? I didn't have to ask, did something happen? It's obvious that something happened.
何が？
Don't play dumb, Tsubaki. When someone so well behaved with such great grades skips school without calling in, it's obvious that something happened.
椿ってクラス委員で生徒会長なんすよね。
そうだよ。たまにすごい忙しくしてる時あるから。
なんか真面目を絵に描いたような設定っすよね。なんか腹立つわ。
You got a problem with diligence? Tsubaki sighed again.
なんでもないよ。ちょっと風邪ひいてるの。
Cold? Then why didn't you call in sick?
それはたまたま忘れてて。
何話してんすかね。
うん。気になるよね。
Hey, Tsubaki. Are you hiding something?
隠し事してないよ。
Solid acting. 10 out of 10. I'd recommend you for a Shakespeare play. The acting is so bad it makes me want to cry.
これあれっすよね。これがギャグシーンだったら、聴診器みたいのを浅井さんの携帯に当てることで、自分も椿の声聞けますよね。
I don't think that's how those work.
宇佐美さんってたまに頭悪いよね。
Oh, shut up. It's an endearing kind of dumb. I lower my voice. Whoops, I dropped something. Ignore that. Are you really okay?
平気。ごめんね。先生にはこれから連絡して謝っておく。
So, we're back to square one. I see. So I guess you don't really trust me. I said this in a nonchalant manner. We're supposed to stick together in times of crisis, right? Why aren't you telling me anything? Are we not friends? It's really quite simple.
ごめん。
An innocent girl like Tsubaki can be easily shaken with words like trust and friendship. Please talk to me. We're close enough for that, aren't we? I can picture Tsubaki's pained and guilty look on the other end of the line.
ごめん。家族の問題だから。
A family matter? Her explanation made no sense to me. We discussed your family matters before, haven't we? You had no problem talking about the possibility of having to move. In other words, this new issue is many times worse than that.
言えないよ。こんなこと。
Did someone in the family die? No. If that was true, she could just say it. There's no doubt that something outside the scope of my imagination has happened. Something downright out of the ordinary. What could it be, though?
そろそろ休み時間終わるよ。
I sighed to wrap up the call. I need to hang up now. I'll ask one last time. Do you want my help? Tsubaki didn't answer. Give it to her. Even though she doesn't answer, it seems she doesn't want to hang up either. In other words, she's asking me for help. I'm hanging up. At the same moment I ended the call, the bell for class rang.
どうでした？
どうだった？
I thought for a bit and said, at the very least, I need to go over to her house.
要するに、椿の身の回りに何かが起こっているというわけですね。
Yeah, she seems to be dealing with a very difficult problem.
授業はいいんすか？
Does it matter?
さすが主人公属性持ちだぜ。友達のピンチには駆けつけるってか？
And you're just a barely entertaining side character, so suck it.
わかりました。自分も行きます。本当はサボりみたいな真似はしたくないんですが。
If you don't want to miss class, don't come.
いえいえ。
Usami delightedly plays with her hair.
しかし浅井さんも普段は冷たそうにしていますが、中身はお熱い人ですね。
Well, he's certainly been raised to have a greed boner. What are you smirking about? Let's get going. They don't understand anything. Something happened to Tsubaki's family. The first thing that comes to mind is that it's somehow related to this land conflict. As one of the people with a stake in that land, I have to rush over there and grasp the situation as fast as possible. The three of us got off the platform at the Eastern District Station. Tsubaki's house should be nearby. I need to keep my guard up in case things get violent.
つばきちゃん！
In the midst of my thoughts, Eiichi yells loudly. Hey, cut it!
会いに来たよ！
He then rings the doorbell. For a moment, there was silence.
椿はさっきまで家にいたんすよね。
Yeah. You think she just left? Doubtful.
とにかく何やらヤバそうですね。
Usami pointed at the window.
カーテンが閉まっています。
I see. Whatever happened was so bad that they had to close the curtains in the middle of the day. Just as I was admiring Usami's observational skills, the door suddenly opened.
みんな
Her face was white as a ghost. Can we come in?
ここまで来させておいて嫌とは言わせんぞ。
Well, we weren't exactly invited.
大丈夫だよ。何でも僕に相談してよ。その代わり肉じゃがごちそうして。
Go eat some grass or something if you're hungry. Come to think of it, it's really rare for Eiichi to ask for any food besides sweets. Is their stew really that good? Well, you could always try it. Maybe that stew will worm its way into your heart a little bit and soften you up some.
ありがとう。とにかく入って。
When we entered the living room, her father appeared.
君たちか。
Why is the breadwinner of the family not working at this time of day? Because he's self-employed? But even then, something's strange. Tsubaki, her father, and her siblings all sit in the family room. But her mother's not there. Did something happen to your mother?
お母さんは寝室で寝込んでるよ。
I look at Usami. What sharp eyes. She's searching the immediate vicinity.
椿の容体を心配してくれてありがとう。でも、もう帰りなさい。学園はどうしたんだい？
Her father's words sound very forced. He pulls out the chair near the phone and sits there with a heavy look. I'm pretty sure that Usami's grasped that someone else is missing, and, well, he seems to be staying awfully close to that phone, so... I wonder if she's deduced that a kidnapping's taken place. A gaggle of formerly rowdy kids also sits there silently. One seems to be sleeping, one playing with toy blocks absent-mindedly, and another one clinging to Tsubaki's leg. The whole room seems dead.
あれ？
Only Eiichi, who seems to be ignoring the somber atmosphere, manages to blurt something out.
あのガキじゃなくて、ほら。
ええ。
As if following Eiichi's lead, Usami nods her head.
おととい探してた子がいないけど。ひろあきは今保育園だよ。
Did something happen to Hiroki? As I was about to say that out loud, Usami quietly said,
ひろあきくんだけが保育園。
Indeed, all the other kids are still home. I will say though, I mean, if you're gonna lie to us, you might want to try come up with a better one.
椿、帰ってもらいなさい。お友達には関係ないことだよ。
わかってるよ。
お父さん、どうしてさっきから電話の前を離れないんですか？お母さんはどうして寝込んでしまったんですか？どうして子供たちは暗い顔をしているんですか？どうして事情を話してくれないんですか？
はるちゃん。
椿。
I gulped. That one in a million possibility passed through my mind.
誘拐されたんだろう。お父さん、あなたは犯人からの電話を待っているんですよね。お母さんはショックで寝込んでいるんです。あなた方は警察にもまだ連絡していないし、犯人に連絡するなと言われているんでしょ？
Tsubaki looks like she's about to cry.
のことなの。
おい、椿。
私がもっと早く保育園に迎えに行ってあげていれば。
Last night would be after she had coffee with me?
私が保育園に行ったら、もうひろあきは帰ったって言われて。
椿、もういい。お前のせいじゃない。
ひろあきは保育園から一人で帰ることあるの。前にも私の迎えが遅れて一人で帰ったことあるの。
I'm also partly to blame for Tsubaki getting there late. But I never would have guessed he could be kidnapped. It's far too unreal. Is this what they call the moment when everything goes wrong?
それで
In this crowded room, only Usami remains calm.
ひろあきくんが誘拐されたと確信に至ったのはなぜだ？
ずっと探してたんだけど、ひろあき夜になっても帰ってこなかったの。
相手は息子を預かっているとでも言ったのか？
たまたま私が電話に出て。
ひろあきくんの声を聞いたか？
いや、聞いてないけど。じゃあ誘拐されてないかもしれなかったり。
しかし現実、ひろあきくんは帰ってきていない。誘拐犯を名乗る人物から電話があった。まず誘拐されたと見て間違いはない。気になるのはひろあきくんの安否ですね。
Tsubaki's surely more concerned about that than Usami.
お父さん、次に電話があったら真っ先に確認してください。
I get the feeling that at some point the atmosphere of the room started to revolve around Usami.
犯人の要求は？
それは身代金は5000万だって。それだけで。
そうか。なら少なくともあと一度は犯人はこの家に接触してくるな。
I know what Usami's getting at. He has to somehow get that 50 million. Basically, the criminal has not yet spoken about how the ransom will be handed over. Still, kidnapping. This is a genuine crime, and what you've been doing for a living isn't? I'm sorry, not the time to be criticizing you. Even I, one who was always working in the gray area of commerce, was shocked. Also, I need to ensure that a certain thing doesn't happen.
っていうか、警察は？
Exactly, the police.
まだ。
警察には連絡するなと？
連絡したらひろあきを。
Well, that's standard procedure for a kidnapper.
警察に連絡しようかと悩んでいるところなんだ。
ダメだよお父さん。警察に連絡したことが犯人に知れたらひろあきが。
しかしこういうのは警察に任せるしかないじゃないか。
Usami suddenly watched the exchange between father and daughter. Trying not to raise any suspicions on myself, I spoke calmly. Please think twice about calling the police.
どうしてだい？彼らは専門家だよ。犯罪対策のプロだ。僕らはただの一般人だ。警察に任すべきじゃないか。
Tsubaki's father is clearly becoming upset. To use such mannerisms in front of his daughter's friend, he really has lost control of his emotions. Please calm down, sir. You are correct. In fact, you can say it's a citizen's duty to call the police in the event of a crime. But how can I put this? I need to convince him. Calling the police would be very problematic. Because if the police come, they'll investigate all of Tsubaki's family's problems. The kidnapper's motives, and why he chose Tsubaki's family, would likely come to light. The fact that this family is being pushed into selling their property would doubtlessly come up during the process of investigation. And then an investigation into Sano Corporation's land development department would doubtlessly lead to information about the Azai Corporation's involvement. If the public found out there's a relationship between a legitimate company like Sanao and a shady one like Azai, all joint projects between organizations would cease immediately. Well, since Maou seems to have a massive hate boner for Azai, I can't help but wonder if this is actually his goal. To force Tsubaki's family to get the police involved, and then once a proper investigation gets underway, then Kyosuke's worst fears here end up becoming realized. That could very well be what he's after. It's impossible to stay afloat in this city if the Sanao Corporation won't have anything to do with you. But wait a minute, actually, I don't know about that now. Because Maou wants to create the biggest crime in the history of this entire city. How exactly would exposing corruption between two giant conglomerates like the Azai Corporation and Sanao exactly be a crime? If anything, that's more like a public service. I think there's a lot more to this here I'm not seeing yet. It's impossible to stay afloat in this city if the Sanao Corporation won't have anything to do with you. And naturally, my own position in the company would be put in a precarious state as well. Therefore, I must prevent any police intervention at all cost. Is there any guarantee that relying on the police will bring Hiroki back?
それは。いや、きっと警察なら何とかしてくれるさ。
I slowly shake my head. Remember that I told you a little about my father?
ああ、確か金融や不動産も扱っている社長さんだとか。
I believe he was a policeman before that. I'd be terrified if that's actually true.
本当かね。
I think Gonzo really was a police officer. He worked in a department that dealt with organized crime. How the fuck did an asshole like him get to be involved in the police? I hear that it's not unusual for a policeman in charge of organized crime countermeasures to retire into the Yakuza. But then again, I haven't heard this directly from Gonzo himself. I wouldn't be surprised if he had an operation in place while he was still with the police. I mean, if you're in a high enough position within the police force, it'd be pretty easy to keep tabs on the police's movements and investigations if you're trying to essentially run your own criminal enterprise. It'd be tough to manage between the two different things, but if you know what you're doing, I could totally see that working. Now then, borrowing my father's authority was a good move, but how do I change over to the main topic? It's about time to cut to the chase. I heard from my father once that kidnapping cases, when reported to the police, well, they tend to produce casualties.
被害者。
Yes.
被害者って。そんな。
お父さん、やっぱり警察はダメだよ。
I'm not lying about this. Obviously, my last statement painted an image in their minds of Hiroki in some sort of danger. However, in a kidnapping case, the kidnapped person and the threatened family are all casualties. One cannot measure the psychological pain and suffering family members go through. For this reason, whether the police become involved or not, kidnappings are bound to have casualties.
しかし、警察なら犯人を捕まえてくれるに違いない。
Are you okay with just arresting the criminal? Isn't the highest priority to bring Hiroki-kun back home? Tsubaki's father held his head.
しかし浅井さん、
What?
警察に連絡しなければひろあきくんが帰ってくるという保証もありませんよ。
Damn.
警察の介入にやたらこだわっていらっしゃるようですが。
Well, Papa is a former police officer, so... Looks like I said a bit too much.
そうっすか。
Usami stares at me with her unblinking eyes.
誘拐事件における警察の犯人検挙率は 95% だそうです。
Well, statistically speaking, that's actually pretty good.
残りの 5% も特に身代金を奪われたというわけではありません。つまり、この国で警察を相手にして身代金奪取に成功した犯人はいないということです。
Good on the police in Japan, then. Son of a bitch. Where'd you get all these statistics? What are you trying to say?
警察を頼れば、少なくとも身代金はほぼ確実と言える可能性で返ってくるということです。
50 million. While mumbling to myself, I had a flash of inspiration. Quite a devilish conception. However, with this, I'll be able to steal the Miwa household.
どうしました?浅井さん。
No, it's nothing. Be calm. Stay calm. I pretended to have a dizzy spell and shook my head. By the way, Usami.
はい。
Usami's eyes never left me during all this time. I want to know more details about kidnapping cases.
はい。
You just said that at the very least, we can guarantee the ransom won't be taken, right?
はい。
In other words, although the money was safe, something else was not. Can I interpret it that way?
鋭いですね。
At that moment, Usami's expression clearly changed. When Eiji and I stole the school keys, she seemed somehow different from usual when questioning us. But still, that was nothing compared to this. In fact, the aura she was emitting could easily be described as murderous intent.
浅井さんのおっしゃる通り、犠牲者は出ています。戦後から現在まで、通算で約180件の身代金誘拐事件が起こっています。そのうち、被害者の数は30人以上です。
30人?
That's roughly a 20% mortality rate.
そんな、やだよ。お父さん、絶対ダメだよ。
But there's still an 80% chance then that he could be okay, though. Right. Even though it's only 20%, this is your little brother we're talking about. I can't get that spark of inspiration from earlier out of my mind. I did feel a bit of resistance to the idea, but I would love for the kidnapper to get his 50 million. 50 million isn't a small figure. I don't believe the family has that much in savings. In which case they have no choice but to get a loan from a bank. When that happens, I'm sure they'll have to put up this land as collateral. And if the kidnapper steals that 50 million, they won't get it back. Then, Sabaki and her family will have no choice but to leave their house. This presents yet another reason police involvement would trouble me. Still, in the end, I can't help but feel resistant to the whole thing. Because this would mean I'm condoning a genuine crime. Well, yes, that's the first problem with this. I mean, the other one is the fact that you're still basically taking advantage of this crime here to push the entire family out of their home for your own organization's benefit. So it's two layers of assholery, is what I'm saying.
日本で警察に知られることのなかった誘拐事件というものが発生していないとは限りません。海外では身代金誘拐を専門にした犯罪者集団がいるそうです。彼らはプロで、被害者の家族が警察に連絡せずに身代金さえ都合つければ、ほぼ確実に人質を解放するそうです。相手の出方を伺ってから、もう一度検討してみるというのはどうでしょう。
Usami is 100% calm right now. She's calm, but it looks as if something in the core of her heart is blazing fiercely. Tsubaki, you also oppose calling the police, right?
だって警察には連絡するなって言われたもの。
Tsubaki seems to believe even the words of a vile kidnapper. This is a good example of how sincerity can sometimes be no more than foolishness.
とにかく君たちは帰りなさい。何にせよこれは家族の問題なんだよ。
I cannot allow that. My wicked heart is jeering me on, telling me not to squander this opportunity. Sir, please let me help.
浅井くん。
I'm also partly to blame for Tsubaki's tardiness in picking up Hiroki yesterday.
それは違うよ。浅井くんは関係ないよ。
Don't bother, Tsubaki. It turned out this way because I asked you to treat me to a cup of coffee. I lowered my eyes. That aside, sir, how do you plan on assembling the ransom?
身代金。
Whether you rely on police or not, I still think there's a need to prepare the 50 million.
そんな大金うちには。
I'll try asking my father. If I explain the circumstances, I think he'll loan you the money at a low interest rate. Of course, I'll make sure you use this land as collateral.
それは。
He seemed to be at a loss for words. Maybe it's because he has nowhere else to turn. He can only sigh in dejection. Tsubaki, would you also be willing to let me handle this? When I say I feel partly to blame for the kidnapping, I'm not lying. So from among the lenders under the Sawa Alliance umbrella, I plan to choose one that's relatively decent.
浅井くん。ありがとう。
Tears well up in Tsubaki's eyes. Her father sits, speechless.
いやいや、さすがの俺ちゃんもシビアに引いちゃったぜ。
Afterward, the three of us left. For now, we'll wait for the kidnapper to call again. Usami and I parted at the Eastern District's park. On the way back, Usami didn't say a single word. She seemed to be thinking that whole time. Come to think of it, weren't you pretty quiet that whole time?
おいおい、俺くらい空気を読める男になるとよ、なんつうの、さすがに無駄口を叩かないっつうの。
Actually, I think you're just about the most oblivious guy I know. Anyway, keep your mouth shut about this.
あってるって、ペットにすら言わねえよ。
Suddenly, Heiichi stopped in his tracks.
しかし、椿のやつ、大丈夫かね。
Obviously not. What's this all of a sudden?
いやよ、さすがに誘拐って、マジサスペンスドラマかよっての。
It came as a shock for me, too.
なんか、俺にできることないんかね。
I didn't think you'd actually care enough here to actually want to help her in this situation. Call me, surprised.
なんだよ、なんか変なこと言ったか？
A little. It's just... Don't you usually treat younger women like bitches?
メス豚でも、俺ペット好きだし。
I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but it seems that even Heiichi is worried about Tsubaki.
帰るわ。
Yeah.
そうだ、椿にプリンでも買ってやるか。うん、あいつは単純そうだから、そんなもんでも喜ぶだろ。俺マジ優しくね。
I guess the sentiment behind it, if nothing else, is worthwhile, if nothing else. Although I can't imagine her having much of a diet right now, considering her present circumstances. But again, like I said, it's the thought that counts. He leaves mumbling to himself. Alright, I still have things to take care of. No rest for the wicked. But before that, I need to pay Gonzo a visit. I need him to give me the name of a good loner. I await the train to the southern district. Still, even someone like Eiichi is a good person at heart. I say the jury is still out on that one. What about me? After arriving at Gonzo's house, I explained the circumstances. So in summary, if Miwa Tsubaki's household uses its land as collateral for the loan, everything will be dealt with tidily. Therefore, could you introduce me to someone who could prepare 50 million right away? He's being silent. I don't know if that's a bad sign or not. Gonzo didn't agree to anything. He just held his dignified posture. What do you think, Father? Father? His heavy mouth remained shut. Feeling a little scared, I gulped.
誘拐か。犯罪だな。
Yes.
警察に届けてもいいんだぞ。
His words were hiding something, and his voice held a coercive tone.
通報すれば、県警本部から捜査一課は特殊犯捜査係の刑事がやってくる。連中は誘拐対策のプロだ。誘拐ほど失敗の許されない事件捜査はないと叩き込まれている。すぐさま捜査本部が敷かれ、300人体制で捜査に臨むだろう。逆探知や音声解析などの技術的な進歩も目覚ましいし、何よりここの県警は警視庁との連携もうまくいっている。
I don't know much about this organization you're talking about, but I must say they sound like they are damn efficient at their job.
まず、間違いなく犯人は上がる。
He's saying this calmly, as if he's directly seen the inner workings of police. Indeed, that is why I want to absolutely prevent any police intervention.
ほう。
As long as the kidnapper takes the money, they'd have to move away. When I said that, my mood turned sour.
いいんだな。
What do you mean?
犯罪を容認するというのだな。
It's as if he saw right through the hesitation in my heart. Well,
誘拐は最も卑劣な犯罪だ。何の罪もない市民を人質に取り、理不尽な要求を突きつける。人質が5歳の幼児ともなればなおさらだ。
what's he getting at?
いいんだな、京介。
A chill went through my spine. I understand. Gonzo's testing me. Glad you finally caught on. He's questioning my conscience, testing my capacity as his livestock. That thought cleared my mind. To be honest, I'm a bit hesitant. Okay, I guess that was not hunky-dory for him. At that moment, a heavy gust of wind suddenly blew past me. Sparks flew before my eyes. My vision suddenly went white. An acidic taste filled the inside of my mouth. I couldn't move. It was like the strength to maintain my body was leaking out through all my pores. A sharp pain ran through my head. Did he pull me up by my hair?
くだらん生き物だな、貴様は。
His cold eyes were bottomless.
善にも悪にもなりきれんのか。
I was terrified. My whole body froze. Even the blood in my veins ice over. Confusion, agitation, any negative emotion you can name. I'm feeling that right now.
お前はその三輪椿という女を助けたことがあるな。
I don't know what he's talking about. The only thing I could comprehend was his menace.
スカウト会社にうちの名前を出した。そうだろ。
Now that you mention it, bearing such intense pressure, I slowly pieced together the events that happened that day. I'm pretty sure there was a time when Tsubaki got tricked by a scout on Central Boulevard. I used the Azai Corporation's name and instructed him not to lay a finger on Tsubaki.
なぜあの時は助けた？
He violently shakes my head.
なぜ今さら両親に揺れる？
He finally releases me.
いいか京介、俺についてきた時点で貴様に待っているのは地獄だけだ。
Yes.
金がいるんだろ。
Yes.
お前の親の借金を
Yes!
いくらだ？
200 million! My father, Samejima Toshikatsu's debt. It was only 50 million at the time, but it had a hell of an interest rate attached and swelled up like a snowball.
ならとっとと稼げ。たかが2億だ。
That's right. I followed Gonzo in order to pay back my father's debt. Everyone who knows about that says, what an amazing child to do such a thing for his father. It's no such beautiful story. Paying back money to the Yakuza requires severe life or death tactics and bargaining. 200 million yen. This isn't some amount you can casually deposit into a bank. And the longer I wait, the more interest it will accumulate. I understand. Sense of terror rapidly lessened. The need for the money has gone to the point where I've had to consensually sell my soul. This cursed attachment to money pushes me on. There's still only 50 million yen in my safe. I will not fail. Satisfied my answer, Gonzo deeply nods.
よし、人間の顔になったな。
I finally have the resolve. No longer will I think about Tsubaki. I can only walk my own path. Of course, I know that my path leads to hell. Perhaps it's because of all the excitement, but my head started to hurt. After leaving Gonzo's place, I stumbled towards Central Boulevard. My consciousness was muddled. I let the headache run its course. If it's any consolation to you, Kyosuke, I am seriously starting to feel bad for you now, and can better understand why you are the way you are, more and more, the more I see you interact with this guy. I mean, doesn't change the fact that what you're doing is evil, but I can at least understand. My headache's finally gone. My mind is clearing up. This complex connected a sensation felt akin to that of passing the baton off to someone else. It's only recently that I've become aware of the existence of Azai Kyosuke, my other half. Oh, wait, this is Maou, isn't it? When I, Maou, am not acting openly, Azai Kyosuke works to support me. This only strengthens my belief that this kidnapping plan will surely succeed. So Kyosuke supports you. So you are split personality? Now then. I mean, that and your other half. I dial a number on my phone. Needless to say, that number belonged to Tsubaki's residence. Someone picked up immediately. You didn't contact the police, did you? Although I'm confident in my ability to change my voice to a certain extent, I still use a voice changer to be extra certain. It would be incredibly troublesome if my natural voice was analyzed. The police might already be at their house, tracing this call literally as we speak.
してません。
Really?
はい、本当です。
Good. And then I hung up. I'm not stupid enough to just trust someone else's words. Although I know that it takes about 3 minutes to successfully trace a call. When the criminal places a call, the detectives can contact the technical staff at the telephone company and run a check on all the circuits governing the area containing Tsubaki's house. Then, by confirming the status on a certain switchboard, they can specify the caller's location. If the length of the call is sufficient, they can detect anywhere from a general range within which the call is being made to calculating the specific phone number used. Also, if the criminal calls from the same area as the victim's family, it takes less time to search the circuits. But if it's a long distance, which requires several switchboards to route the call, it would take longer to trace the number. However, if the call goes by the way of the recent electronic digital switchboards, they'll know where it came from in an instant. So I took the safest possible course of action. Just now, I placed the call from my cell phone. Since I was moving during the call, even if the police have my specific location, I'll have gone away before they can rush over here. This cell phone itself is a disposable model, so it'd be meaningless to confirm the owner. Once more, I dialed the number for Tsubaki's house.
もしもし、三輪です。
After this, I'll call 2 more times. Before then, be sure to prepare pen and paper. She's probably flustered from the sudden direction. You're not allowed to ask any questions. Understand?
許さないって。ひろあきの声を聞かせてください。
I cut the connection. If there's a detective next to Tsubaki, he should instruct her to draw out the call. Why would a kidnapper actually acquiesce to such demands? Anyway, I should change my location. I don't think those short conversations will allow them to track my location, but there's no harm in being extra careful. I'm now near my home. This place should use a different switchboard to route the call. No matter what, I must prevent the police from interfering. I call on my cell phone. Again, I hear Tsubaki's crying voice.
もしもし、ひろあきは無事なんですか？
I already told her that questions were not permitted, but I guess she's too worried to care right now. Before instructing you on how to hand over the ransom money, I'll say this one more time. I persistently repeated the same command. Don't contact the police. If there's any sign of police presence, I'll cancel the trade, and your brother won't come back. Do you understand? Not having the police involved is an absolute condition. Why do kidnappers on TV and in mystery novels always try to fight the police? Naturally, it's to make the stories more entertaining. But in real life, no kidnapper has managed to successfully escape the police with the ransom. No crime carries more risk than kidnapping. If I even find a trace of the police, I'll cancel the trade. That's what I've decided. The most crucial point in performing a successful crime is understanding when to pull back.
警察には連絡してません。だから、弟を返して。
Her painful cry grated my ears. If she's lying, then she must be a top-level actress. Very good. In that case, wait for my next phone call. I break off the connection while continuing forward. I'll change my location again. Silence blankets the shoreline at night. They ought to be growing impatient right about now. This is the last confirmation. When someone picked up, I didn't use the voice changer. Instead, I just changed my own pitch. Hello, is this the Miwa residence?
Hi.
I'm Takano of the Special Investigations Unit. Can I speak to Detective Tomita? There was a pause. I focused all my attention to my ear.
警察?
Well, Officer Tomita should be the female officer in charge of on investigations there.
お父さん?
I can hear hectic noises in the backdrop.
お父さん、いつ警察に連絡したの?
なんだって何の話だ
That exchange satisfied me. From Tsubaki's reaction, it's very hard to imagine a detective standing next to her. I used the voice changer again. Looks like you did as I said and didn't contact the police. If you had said something like, "Hold on a second," your brother would have left this world by now. The police would never call a family victimized by kidnapping in order to get in contact with a coworker. Naturally, they're provided with special wireless phones to keep in touch.
騙したんですね。
This is indeed a cheap trick that anyone in their right mind would quickly see through. But for some reason, Tsubaki's state of mind, it's more than enough as a test. But for someone. That's good. Make sure you keep it up. Though after getting a glimpse of the special gift you should be receiving shortly, I doubt you'll even think about contacting the police anyway.
品物?
What'd you do, take off a finger? I ignore her question. Now then, I'm going to start explaining how to hand over the ransom money. Do you have pen and paper ready? Now that I know I'm not being traced, I can speak freely. First, prepare the ransom as stock certificates.
株?
Change the 50 million into stocks before tomorrow morning. Buy shares of a company called Shiratori Construction. It's one of Sano Corporation's subsidiaries, and the company which runs your school. 50 million yen should get you 50,000 shares. Why the Shiratori Corporation?
白鳥建設. はい.
Due to her experience with diary writing, Tsubaki jots down the directions with incredible speed. After you prepared the 50 million yen in stock certificates, please have Usami Haru stand in front of your house at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening.
はるちゃんは?
I will contact Usami Haru on her cell phone for your next instructions. She seems desperate to write this down. These directions probably make no sense at all to Tsubaki, but she'll find out soon enough. That is all. If I don't see Usami Haru by 6 o'clock, the deal is off.
待ってください.
As long as you follow my directions, I'll return your brother to you. I'm a professional kidnapper. I'll keep my promise if I receive my money. Do you understand? I give her a little enticement at the very end. I plan on designating Tsubaki to hand over the ransom. But before that, I need to make sure Tsubaki will follow my orders absolutely. After breaking off the call, I stroll down to the seaside. There's no one around. The air is quite chilly. The moon gently rocks back and forth on the water's surface. Up to this point, it's been perfect. And my headache acts up yet again. Ring, ring. First thing the next morning, my cell phone suddenly rang. Still dazed and sleepy, I woke up. Tsubaki?
浅井くん、ごめんね、こんな時間に。
What time is it? It seems like Tsubaki has been trying to reach me for a while now.
4時だよ。ごめんね。どうしても相談したいことがあって。
The sun hasn't even risen yet. I got home at around 2 this morning. That means I only slept for 2 hours. What is it?
ひろあきを誘拐した人から連絡があって、5000万を全部株券に変えて、明日の夕方までに宇佐美さんを家の前に立たせておけって、それで。
Slow down. Calm down. Calm down and say it slowly. My head still hurt from being awoken by this racket. Wait, stocks? Not cash?
5万株だって。
Which stock?
白鳥建設だって。白鳥って白鳥さんのことかな。
That's right. Shiratori's father is the director of our school. But why Shiratori Construction? And Usami is supposed to wait in your yard this evening?
株券が用意できたらそうしろって。
Why Usami? I don't understand what this guy's thinking at all, but I can guess why you called. You want me to take care of the money.
そうなんだよ。お父さんは株とかそういうの疎いみたいで、銀行からお金を借りたこともない人だから。
I see. Did you call the police?
絶対しないよ。
An almost scream. Huh? Did someone else happen?
夜の10時くらいにね、宅配が届いたの。
I have a bad feeling about this. What was inside? Tsubaki spoke as softly as the buzz of a mosquito. He was almost inaudible.
ひろあきの写真と、
A photo?
それと髪の毛。
Okay, if it's just hair, then that could just mean he just simply took a snippet of his hair off with some scissors or something. He's just trying to scare you. He could be okay.
これって警察に連絡したら次はもっとひどいことをするっていう意味だと思う。
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying. But hair isn't such a big deal. I thought it'd be a finger or something. You and me both.
だから警察の人は頼れないから、もうどうしたらいいかわからなくなっちゃって、それで浅井君に。
I got it. I'll try to work things out on the money side.
ありがとう。
Tomorrow. Wait, today, I guess. We need 50,000 shares by this evening, right? To do that, we need 51,000 share stock certificates. We'll need to make the purchase before noon. But can we get 50,000 shares?
難しそうなの？
I'm pretty sure you need more than 50 million.
いくら必要なの？
I'll go ahead and check Shiratori Construction's closing price from last weekend after this call. But yeah, including broker fees and miscellaneous charges, 50 million probably won't be enough.
お父さんに聞いたんだけど、1000万くらいは貯金あるんだって。
Wow. To have such a huge family and still maintain this amount in savings means he's really been working hard. Got it. Then we'll just have to get 50 million.
できそう？
It shouldn't be a problem. I already brought it up yesterday.
銀行から借りるの？
No, from a branch company of my father's. If we barged into a bank and asked for 50 million yen, there's no way we'd get the money. Especially not before noon. However, it would be possible if the police were there. Alright, I'll be over in a bit. Please have your father prepare the deed and his seal. I finished it in one breath.
どっち？
Yeah.
それってどういうこと？
I'm sorry, but this is the only way.
どっちをどうするの？
50 million isn't a small sum. If you don't put up any collateral, you won't be able to get the loan.
それってもし私たちがお金を返せなかったら
The land will belong to your lender. Tsubaki interrupted me.
出ていくしかないってこと？
Yes.
そんな別の方法はないのかな？
I can imagine how uneasy that would make her. Well, if you loaned the money to someone else, they couldn't... Well, if you loaned the money to someone else, but they couldn't promise that they could pay it back, would you still give them the money?
それはその人が信用できそうなら
I'm digging my own grave here. Tsubaki would loan money to people sleeping on the street.
ごめんね。浅井くんを頼ってるのに言うこと聞かないで。
Don't worry about it. This is all such a shock. I'm sure you're panicking right now. I went straight to the point. Anyway, it doesn't need to be asked whether you choose your land or your brother's life. You can't buy life with money, after all. It wasn't a line that came easy to me.
わかったよ。お父さんに相談してみる。
You have to contact me by 7 in the morning at the latest. If you're any later than that, I can't guarantee that I can get the money.
いろいろありがとう、浅井くん。
No problem.
少し安心したよ。頼れる人がいるって素敵なことだね。
She's probably smiling on the other end of the line.
なんか勇気づけられたよ。
The call disconnected. I don't feel any emotion. The development of the Eastern District is an important job entrusted to me by the Sano Corporation. That's the only thing I should think about. But still, stocks. I should go and ask someone who's familiar with it. Hello, this is Azai. I'm sorry about calling at this time. Yes, I wanted to get your input on something. The moment I mentioned Shiratori construction, his reaction changed. It's best to avoid it. Yes. The price is going down? You don't know the reason. So if the price drops any more... In this case, getting 50,000 shares isn't going to be hard at all. Well, clearly Maou must have predicted this. The shares going down like this. In price. Thank you very much. Yes, Father wishes the best for you as well. Still, I wonder what's going on with Shiratori construction. The Shiratori girl's face flashed before my eyes. That arrogant attitude. That forceful demeanor and those pleading eyes. It has nothing to do with me. I walked back into my study. In the end, Tsubaki accepted my help. After putting the land and his son's life on opposite sides of the scale, her stubborn father finally gave in. Ever since this morning, I've been running around, gathering the money. The 50 million was received effortlessly. I talked to Gonzo beforehand, told him my plans, and the collateral was accepted without a hitch. Tsubaki's father took the borrowed 50 million and the Miwa family's entire savings and put it all in a newly opened account at the stock exchange. The certificates for the 50,000 shares will be delivered before evening. On the way to Tsubaki's house, my headache struck once more. Maybe it's because I'm working too much.
Azai-san, 大丈夫ですか?
Well, I'm kind of wondering on and off here whether or not our protag here actually has split personality disorder. But again, I keep thinking about the image of Maou that we see and what we've seen of Kyosuke, and there are still some physical differences. So, and yet Maou also called Kyosuke his other half, and mentioned how Kyosuke worked to support him and all that. So I don't know if it's just like a split personality thing, or if it's a sibling terminology thing. I don't know what to make of it yet. So, but beyond that though, no, I'm still not okay. Tsubaki's having a hard time. What?
頭痛そうっすけど。
I'm fine.
そうっすか? なんかいつもと顔つきが違うような気がしますが。
Do I not?
ええ、まるで悪魔に魂でも売ったみたいな。気のせいっすかね。
Might as well have. My soul was pawned off a long time ago. Everything's going according to plan. The ransom must be delivered successfully. Damn it, Usami. I won't let you interfere.
それにしても、どうして私なんでしょうかね。
6 o'clock rolled around. In accordance with instructions, Usami was standing in front of Tsubaki's front door. Well, now that I think about it, I wonder... what's going to happen now that Kyosuke is right in front of the house along with Usami, and 6 o'clock is just pretty much about to hit? Will we get a call from Maou and thus confirm that Maou and Kyosuke are indeed different people? Or will something else happen that just ends up leaving the whole thing ambiguous? How am I supposed to know? I'm curious myself. Usami looked around, so anxious that she couldn't sit still.
っていうか、どうして浅井さんも私と一緒にいるんですか?
Who cares? I know I'm being persistent about this, but I'm here to keep an eye out for police. For instance, if some of the neighbors grew suspicious, there would be a chance that they might call the authorities. I pretended to chat with Usami while on alert for an unmarked police car or a detective on a stakeout.
まあいいです。せっかくですし、ちょっと考えませんか?
What, our future together? I was just joking, but Usami's face turned darker.
やけに陽気ですね。友達が大変な目に遭っているというのに。
That's exactly why I'm acting like this. If we were depressed, how would she get through this herself?
たとえ冗談だとしても、私のことを鬱陶しく思っている浅井さんの冗談にしては、ちょっと。
Sorry that it wasn't funny.
まあいいです。ところで、魔王はどうして身代金を現金ではなく株券で要求してきたんだと思いますか?
Probably because he's going to pull off something that will cause the Shiratori's stocks to skyrocket shortly after he gets his hands on them. And then, through that, probably sell off those stocks and then take away an absolutely massive fortune along with him. That's my guess, but that still just begs the question, okay, is that the crime that he's trying to pull off? Because if so, it's just like, I don't know. I was expecting something grander than that, I guess. Like, I don't know what exactly for sure I was expecting, to be fair, but somehow it just feels to me like if that's what he's after, just basically pulling a stock market scheme, and then just selling off some stocks once they suddenly skyrocket after a certain little trick is pulled off. It just, I don't know. It doesn't feel grand enough. You know what I mean? But what do I know? Wait, did you just say Mao?
はい、
The kidnapper is that Mao?
おそらく。
Any evidence?
犯人は次の指示を私の携帯電話に入れてくると言ったそうじゃないですか。
Interesting.
私が携帯を持っていることを知っているのは魔王だけです。
Not bad at all. I spoke, feigning disinterest. I know too, you know.
え、何がです？
A stupid look surfaced on her face. The fact that you have a cell phone.
いや、持ってないって言いませんでしたっけ？セントラル街で貸してくださいって頼んだこともありましたよね。
Is your mind somewhere else today? Didn't you have a warm-up with Maou a couple days ago? You told me yourself.
うん。
Are you listening?
ああ、そうでしたね。忘れてました。そっか、浅井さんも知ってますね。
Yeah.
そっかそっか。
Yeah, there's no way you forgot. I'm not buying it. As she nods her head, her piercing eyes let loose a bizarre gleam.
まあ、ついでに言うと、さっきからずっとあたりを監視しているんですが、誰も現れませんね。車すら通りません。
I know what Usami wants to say. This woman is something else. Are you trying to say that I'm Mao?
ああ、いえいえ、そんなつもりじゃないんですよ。例えば、こちらが気づけない位置から望遠鏡か何かで探られているとか、そういう可能性もありますからね。
Hey, don't we have an agreement to never suspect each other?
ええ、もちろんです。浅井さんは潔白ですよ。
Despite what she said, I can only take this to be her suspecting me.
しかし魔王って学園生じゃないかなとかノリで思うことあるんすよね。
Oh?
まあ、あくまでノリですけどね。
You mean there's no evidence?
ええ、誘拐電話も夜にかかってきたそうですし、私と軽くやり合ったのも日曜日でした。
That really is a wild guess. Wouldn't Mao have a similar schedule if he was working an office job?
ああ、そっか。それもそうっすよね。しかも魔王は金持ちですもんね。
This girl.
人を使って街の至るところに落書きを残したり、ひろあきくんを誘拐するのにもきっと車を使ったでしょう。さらに言えば、身代金を株券で要求してくるあたり、相場の知識もあるみたいですしね。そんな学園生いるわけないですよね。
Not an ordinary one, at least, as Kyosuke can attest to. I can't help but laugh.
どうしました？
Oh no. I was just thinking that you, Usami, are a very interesting person.
マジっすか？自分人に褒められるの慣れてないんで、あんまり甘やかさないでもらえますか？
You didn't get very many compliments before this. That's a crime. I was reminded of the reason for my desire to thoroughly crush her. And that is why I will always hate you, Kyosuke. Can we get back to the main topic?
ああ、はいはい。身代金を株券で要求してきた件ですね。
What do you think?
さあ。
Don't feign ignorance. You must have seen something in it. Let me see just how good you are.
まず考えられるのは、持ち運びが簡単だからでしょう。現金で5000万だと、1万円札が5000枚も必要です。けれど、株券ならたったの50枚にしかなりません。
With only a few exceptions, stock certificates come in units of 1,000 shares. If we have 50,000 shares, then there are only 50 certificates. Makes sense. Since the guy's planning on taking the ransom and hightailing it out of there, he'd want the goods to be as light as possible.
しかしですね、単に軽くしたいだけなら、他にいくらでも方法はあるはずなんです。
For instance?
ダイヤモンドのような貴金属の類に変えさせるとか。しかも、なぜ白鳥建設の株券なんでしょうね。
Don't know. Maybe the criminal believes Shiratori Construction's stock will go up in value. Usami heaved a sigh.
妙なことはまだあります。たった1日で5000万円を工面させて、さらに夕方には株券に変えさせるというのも、椿家のような一般家庭にはタイトな要求です。
Well, probably because he's got this all perfectly timed. Everything needs to happen in a very specific fashion in order for this grand plan of his here to work out the way he wants it to. And I'm pretty sure that's also tied to these stocks.
犯人は椿たちが株券を用意できなかったらどうするつもりだったんでしょうね。
That's the 50 million yen question, isn't it?
あるいは用意できるという確信があったのか。どう思います？
I don't know. Maybe he thought that they'd try their hardest no matter what since their child is on the line. Usami doesn't seem to agree.
警察が関与しているなら身代金の工面にも便宜を図ってくれたでしょう。しかし魔王は警察には絶対に連絡しないよう忠告しています。
Obviously. Not too many kidnappers want to fight the police.
浅井さんがいなければお金の用意は無理だったでしょうね。
Probably. The culprit must have thoroughly researched everyone connected to the family. Usami's eyes blinked twice, 3 times, and finally closed tightly.
浅井さん。
ん？
これは直感ですがね。
She opened her eyes.
私はこの誘拐事件は私に対する挑発なんじゃないかと思っています。
Oh?
でなければ私の携帯電話に次の連絡を入れてくるという理由がわかりません。
She's right. If he wanted to, he could easily confine his contact to the Miwa family alone. Well, it's about time for me to head out.
帰る？
Sorry, but I still have things to take care of.
そうですか。いつ戻られます？
I've got things going on until tomorrow evening. And let me guess. You're going to be busy. Mao is going to be busy during this entire time that you are going to be busy with all your stuff until tomorrow evening, right? That's the plot contrivance we're going for here?
それはもちろん椿の危機よりも優先される用事なんですよね。
Don't say it like that. Even if I stay, what can I do?
わかりません。ただ、椿は浅井さんを頼りにしていますよ。
Alright. Just contact me if anything happens.
はい、真っ先に。
I turned around. Usami kept her vigil in front of the door, her thoughts racing. Okay, what needs to be done next? Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and end things here, and we can continue to see how this current stage of Mao's plan plays out in the next episode. Quite curious to see what exactly is gonna come of all this. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of The Devil on G-String. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.